Welcome to The Growth Show with me as your host, Joe Camerato. I am an entrepreneur who created my company, National Business Capital, from literally $0 out of my spare bedroom to over $2 billion in business loans secured for entrepreneurs nationwide. Since 2007, I have seen just about every type of business. I provide money and help entrepreneurs access capital to scale fast, but I also know that it's possible for you as you scale to replace yourself, to build systems, processes, and great teams of people that can live on without you so you can actually enjoy your life and your company can still grow. I will not only tell you the peaks and valleys of my story, but I will also bring on world-class entrepreneurs to tell their stories and share their lessons on their growth journeys. Welcome to The Growth Show. All right, welcome to The Growth Show. And with me as your host, Joe Camerato. And as you know, my show is all about highlighting entrepreneurs that are making it happen, that are growing businesses. And I've got a great guest on the show today who's got an awesome company, pun intended. I have Harlow Russell, and his company is Awesome 3D Cards. And I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show today, Harlow.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's very excited to be here and be part of the ecosystem.
Yeah, excited to have you. Harlow, you were introduced to us, by a relationship of ours, and I know one of our financing advisors was able to help secure you capital for all the growth that you're planning on. So you are committed to growth, and that's why I want to have you on the show today. And your product, is really cool. And I just want to share just about a little bit about you, and then we'll get to your product, which is awesome. So Harlow, Russell is a global entrepreneur with experience in a full range of industries. Harlow has been building relationships with C-suite executives across the world for more than 30 years. In early 2019, Harlow founded Awesome 3D Cards. The company designs and manufactures custom 3D greeting cards for companies and organizations. Harlow lived and worked in Asia for 25 years, and his career included technology, real estate, and the U.S. government. He leverages all of that now to produce unique, handcrafted, custom 3D pop-up cards for companies and organizations. Awesome 3D Cards is the opposite of digital marketing, making it real that customers hold in their hands. And, I've got some of your cards right here, and they're truly awesome. I think it's really great. That just pops out of the card. So I hope you guys can see and appreciate this. I really love this one. It's like a whole
Autodesk.
Yeah, it's like a whole building, which is really cool.
Yes.
And then you can put your whole custom message on it, and it pops out. I don't know. How could you not get, when my team, you sent these to us, which I really appreciate. Right. And I think we're going to be doing an order from you. But when my team sent us these and I opened them up, I'm like, wow, this is so cool. So thanks for being on the show. Please tell us, how tell us your story. How'd you get started, in all this?
Well, as you said, I lived in Asia for 25 years in Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, and most of my adult life. And the last 5 years were in Vietnam. And I was involved in real estate there and business consulting and some other things. And Vietnamese kirigami cards, which is what this art form is, it's not origami, it's kirigami from Vietnam, is all about movement. It's all about folded paper, but within a card and movement, a jack in the box. And for many years, I've been bringing Vietnamese kirigami cards back to friends and family here in the United States. And the reaction is always the same. It puts a smile on everybody's face, no matter who they are, or their background, or their age. And that's a great item. Now, they're mostly tourist cards in Vietnam, but I, have that experience. And when I came back to the U.S. In 2018 to Austin, Texas, I, like everybody, I have customer service experiences every day, and I had a bad one. And they sent me a thank you card. And the thank you card that arrived in the mail was, let's just say, Joe, extremely disappointing, especially given the amount of money I was spending with this company. And honestly, instead of making a positive emotional connection, which is the purpose of a thank you card or similar, it had the opposite effect. And I was really angry. But in that
Got it.
anger, in that moment, I said to myself, I was speaking in my living room holding this thing. I said, you know, if they had sent me a Vietnamese kirigami card that popped up and opened up, I would have been, and the words came to me, delighted, impressed, and surprised. And at that moment, that was the aha moment. I took a step back in my living room and thought, oh, wow. Oh, wow. And that was the inspiration for finding out about Kirigami and how it all works and how to get stuff designed. And that was the start of awesome 3D cards in my living room.
That's great. I love the out of the living room, spare bedroom stories. I founded my company, National Business Capital. I don't know if you know the story, literally right out of my spare bedroom as well,
Hmm.
and saw how challenging it was for owners to access capital.
Yes.
Um, and then here we are today, and it's still challenging. I think it's even more challenging today,
I
but
would agree.
have a true passion for that and respect for it. We talked about this a little bit. Everyone makes entrepreneurship sound so vanity today, sounds so
Mm,
simple, so easy, so much fun. But the reality is, it's not fun. It's
mm,
challenging. It's not easy, especially in the beginning. So, what have been the challenges and and exciting things too, but with yourself, getting started. What do you think the biggest challenges have been?
Well, the biggest challenge is my product is unique. Nobody's ever seen what I do, particularly geared for companies and organizations and customized buildings and customized vehicles or customized products. So, one of the biggest challenges was and still is that people don't know this exists. So, I have to market and create the understanding that one, this kind of thing exists, number one, and it's doable, and it's very much a part of marketing that any company or organization can have. So it is really about the education and pure marketing of what a custom 3D pop-up card is, what it can do, what the value is between you, the sender, and the recipient. And that's a continuing piece of what I need to do. And as part of my scaling of the business, the marketing of custom 3D pop-up cards is still the biggest chunk of work to do, because every company, every organization, you tell me what the company is, what the organization does, and I can create some kind of custom pop-up card for that company or organization to use. So my opportunity is huge, and that's a double-edged sword because there is so much opportunity. How do you prioritize and grow and scale?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's always the challenge. I think at every level, right? And
Mm.
so I think, I mean, you talked about, I think, a lot of these growth opportunities. My team helped you secure capital for your business, which is
Yes,
awesome.
thank you.
Congratulations. And I hope it was a good process.
Yes, it was
And I
very
think
smooth,
thank you.
surprisingly smooth.
Well, we were talking about banks prior, and like your local bank, and I think it's important to have great local banking relationships. But the reality is,
Mm,
it's most banks just aren't lending to small to medium sized companies.
correct.
And really, to get funding from a bank today, you have to have a lot of collateral, hard
Yes.
real estate assets, or
Yes.
extremely big B2B receivables.
Yes.
And then even with that, you need a ridiculous amount of profit. And then
Yes.
even with all that, it's still challenging. I mean, we see companies that do 20, 30, 40 million in revenue that are profitable and are having a challenge getting bank financing or getting an increase from their bank because they don't have the collateral coverage that a bank
Yes.
needs.
My local bank manager who supports my business, he loves my business. He's so apologetic. He just said, "Harlow, my hands are tied," and that's been kind of the typical situation. People in the financial community want to help. They love the product. They get it. And just because of our current situation and rules and regulations and all of that stuff and bank failures, they just it is very, very tough, to the point where I really almost gave up in terms of trying to find some additional financing to scale my business. And I I feel very lucky I was introduced to your company, frankly.
No, I'm glad you were, and we're it's the whole reason why I founded the company was to help entrepreneurs just like yourself to grow and scale and get to the next level. And when you've got the growth and the opportunity, the reality is you need capital to grow, and you either raise money from friends and family, you do private equity, or you borrow capital to grow and scale. And I think the great thing about borrowing money, especially if you're able to, is you don't have to give up equity and you still own the business,
Correct.
great.
Correct.
And that's important, especially too, in the beginning. I think there's a time and a place for private equity, but and every situation, is different. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so what is the growth opportunity for you? Where do you think you're going to put? You've secured capital, you've got a great product, um, you've got a number of customers, and that's growing. Where do you think, like, where's your growth opportunity, and where are you going to put your focus?
Well, Joe, I have worked in many industries, big companies, government. I've had a couple of my own startups in the past. This is the first company and first product, if you will, where I have, I believe, really totally unlimited growth opportunities because my product is unique. And really a product that any company or organization, big or small, in this country or in other countries, because I do have international clients, can use. And in this age of digital everything, and where we fight for attention spans of a second or 5 seconds, my product is the exact opposite. It's not digital anything. It's real, it's physical, it's tangible, and it makes that emotional connection. Remember, that's how this started.
Yeah,
As a
yeah,
thank you, I'm a customer. I want a positive emotional connection. That's what this product does. So already in 4 years with 400 clients and about 150,000 on our way to 200,000 custom cards manufactured, you name an industry or a company, we can create a card that does something, whether it's simply gratitude or it's a sales and marketing tool, or it's to thank donors, or it's to raise money, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many use cases for making something real and tangible. And in this world, all of us are so desperate for some sort of connection. And that's what this kind of a real, tangible, folding product does, so that it not only makes that connection right away, but it's retained. So my products are not thrown away. And my clients report that even long after they are received by a recipient, they're still open, like
yeah,
yours that you
yeah,
receive on the desk or at home of the recipient. So in terms of growth opportunity, it's really as fast as I can scale the marketing and then all of the ancillary support tools and people to support that. It really still is a marketing question, and then it's a capital question as larger orders come in, requiring more cash flow to pay for those, first manufacturing and then finally here in the United States.
yeah. No, I think that's great. I love that it's the exact opposite of all this digital stuff because everything's
Yes,
digital today. And
yes,
I gotta be honest, I don't really get many things in the mail today, but when I get something in the mail, or God forbid, I get a handwritten letter,
right,
but when I get something in the mail, it's like it's exciting. I don't know if it's
absolutely,
because it makes me feel like a kid again, getting a birthday card or whatever, but you just don't get it often. So I definitely can see um,
absolutely.
how
And it's funny. The growth opportunity is this product appeals to both men and women, boomers like myself, perhaps I'll say millennial like yourself, a CEO or a receptionist. So there's something just pure emotional about the joy of opening up a Jack in the Box. And in today's busy world, we're all too busy. We're distracted. We all have, AHAD. This is something different, and it draws you in, whether you are a corporate recipient or an employee of a company, or what have you. So I'm super excited about the opportunity, and the challenge is to scale and grow, as you well know, to capture this opportunity as quickly as possible.
yeah. We talked about this a little bit, but I think that, and I don't know your business fully, know all the numbers, but I feel like there's probably a really great opportunity for you to grow and scale through mail houses that have the B2B customers already, and those customers always looking for new and unique things to send out,
Yes,
to their clients. So I definitely feel like that's a real growth potential, for you that might be worth, looking into.
I agree.
Um, and I'd be honest, if our mail house, presented something like that, I feel like we probably would have tried it. So I think that's great. Um, where do you think you see, the business, the next 5, 10 years? What's your big audacious goal?
Yes, my big audacious goal. I would say, if we take that kind of in the two chunks, the usual two chunks of, 5 year, 10 year, it would probably be like this. I'm at year 4 in my business, so 5 years from now is year 9. Given the opportunities, and if I, execute well and have great people around me, both third parties and directly, I see this as a 8 or 9 figure business. There's just unlimited possibilities, really, given how burned out human beings are with digital everything. And remember, I'm digital nothing. I'm real. I'm tangible.
Yeah.
So I would like to shoot for that. I have my numbers. I have my 5 year plan, and it's big. Now, 10 years out, honestly, I will be in my 7th decade. And so there's a reality check that says, hey, 10 years out, where do I want to be personally? I would love to grow this business such that, a decade from now, in 2033 or so, that this is the number one company in the United States and maybe the world that has this concept, this capability, and that honestly, I'm in a position to sell it. And I love to travel. I've been to 40 countries so far and counting. And when I'm, 72 or 73, I would like to add to that list. And, my goal is before I hang up my backpacking shoes, that I've visited 75 countries or so. So that would be a great time to do that. So that's the plan. That's the big, hairy, audacious goal.
Love it.
Um, and I'm on my way.
That's great. Yeah, I have no doubt that you're going to do it and execute on it. And I love what the goal is. My goal is to travel and to see the world as well. I think you've got me beat with some countries, but it's all good.
It's all good.
I'm excited to catch up. And one thing that you might consider, and just a thought, and I just spoke to a really awesome entrepreneur who was on my show, and he did a deal 29 years ago. He was in like an e-commerce drop shipping bathing suits, which was just ahead of its time 29 years ago, as you can imagine.
Wow.
It cost
Yes.
him $200,000 to build an e-commerce website. This was in like 1992. Now you can be up and running on like Shopify, or big commerce in a day and build it
Yes.
yourself. But he did a royalty deal, and he still gets 7% on sales of bathing suit soles, and he's still getting checks
Wow.
from 29 years ago today. So
Wow.
you don't really hear about that stuff. And listen, everyone's timelines and goals, and every deal and situation is different. But I just thought that was interesting and worth resharing.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm not an expert in e-commerce. So what that again reminds me is perhaps there are others out there. Maybe you can refer me. A warm referral is always very powerful. That, can see what I do and say, "Oh, have you thought about this?" Which is the idea stage, but also can execute. And perhaps either an individual, a consulting party, an agency, or a third party that says, "Wow, we get what you're doing, B2B wholesale, and let's talk about over here." And that would be
Yeah.
great. I'm always open to new ideas.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of different ways that you can structure deals, right? You probably can do a number of different deals with a number of different agencies, resellers, and different things that they're doing, the marketing, or they have the customer base where you're marketing those bigger, folks that have the bases versus trying to get the one-off, customer. And I've seen a lot of companies scale, through those type of, partnerships. So definitely
Yes,
worth, thinking about. I love this stuff, and marketing and sales has always been my strength. So always love talking it through with other entrepreneurs.
absolutely.
The one thing though, Harlow, is I want to mention, because you started this business in 2019, but
Yes,
then we went right into COVID. So
yes,
I don't even like talking about COVID anymore, but it's important. Like you started, it's been 4 years, but I don't know. I'd say it's probably been, more like 2.5, because, starting in the middle of COVID, I mean, that was just
yes.
one heck of a time, a lot of chaos. And
Absolutely. And a lot of, people who started any kind of startup in 2018 or 19 and COVID hit, just wiped them out, period, the
yeah,
end,
yeah,
for things totally out of their control, right?
yeah,
I was lucky, again, because it's a unique product. And remember, before COVID, nobody really did Zoom. Zoom came into life during COVID.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I was early on that to set up business meetings by Zoom and learn about it. And when I show cards, I can put something in front of the camera and show it. So like this is for Autodesk. That's one of our major clients, a software company, tech company doing pop-up cards. And so luckily, the Zoom era and cameras really worked for my product in terms of communicating that, as well as even during COVID, the US Postal Service still operated. And so, as you
yes,
know, my product's physical, I send out a lot of samples. And so that continued, it wasn't disrupted because of COVID. So my channels of communication were intact, sending samples, people touching and feeling, getting stuff at home, because I would send many, many sample packs to people at home, and people were stuck at home. So they'd wait for the mail, right? The mail
yeah,
became the big deal
exactly
of the
right.
day. And
Yeah,
look, there's a package of what is this? Pop-up cards that are amazing. So I was very lucky with that, and perhaps it helped accelerate my business rather than take away from it. Lots of thoughts to consider on that one.
yeah. Well, listen, I think a lot of times these challenging things happen, and you let them knock you down, or put you out of business, or you turn around and say, hey, I can utilize, you use it all to your advantage. Zoom, everything else, you stayed focused. You obviously kept your mindset in check, and powered through it. I know that you did. Not even, haven't even shared that story with me, but I know that you did, because you just started in 19. You had to have, in order to get to
Yes,
here. So just,
yes,
have a lot of respect. It wasn't an easy time, for anybody, and
no,
especially when you're just getting started. And it's amazing how sometimes these, not good situations will actually turn out to be working, in your favor. But that's only if you allow them to, and focus in the right areas.
yes, absolutely. I mean, my origin story is from a being angry and upset with how I felt as a customer, and that started my business.
Yeah, no, really good stuff. Awesome. So, what is, as we wrap up here,
Mhm.
what are you most excited about in the future?
Yeah, well, a lot. Um, as I said, I'm excited, and that excitement, I get a lot of energy from people like you and people I meet every day, because I have a product that no one's seen before, and that's really important to emphasize. And people, it puts a smile on everybody's face. That's our tagline: "Make your customers smile." So because people react so positively, Joe, when they feel and touch my custom 3D pop-up cards, it gives a tremendous amount of energy and excitement back to me as a business owner and just as a human being. So it's a nice environment to work in, and to work hard as an entrepreneur with a small business. So my business is creative. There's an element of fun as well. When I design cards with clients, it's fun, and to see their ideas, my ideas come alive in handmade paper is always fun. Whenever I get the client's cards from Asia prior to delivery, and I open up the client's card for the first time for real, it's always exciting and it's always fun. And I've never been in a business where there's that element of fun all the time. And finally, the last point that what I'm excited about is what I'm doing is also helping people in Vietnam. This is primarily home industry. And as I said in the introduction, Vietnamese kirigami cards in Vietnam are pretty much kind of touristy things, and they're nice. But what I'm doing is I'm showcasing to the Vietnamese themselves their skill sets. They've never designed F1 cars or the Intercontinental Building and hotel in Chicago. They've never done these
Wow.
things, and so they're excited whenever they get a new customer design from Awesome 3D Cars. They're excited. Can we actually do this? And the answer is yes. So that's kind of good karma, giving back as well to the artisans in that country, and really building up their industry in a way that they never, ever thought possible. If you look at my website and see some of the designs we've done, they're quite amazing. And that's due to the skill sets of the people that I work with in Vietnam. And just telling them, hey, you can do this. Here's what I want you to do for this
Yeah,
client. And they're wonderful. They're amazing.
that's great. Well, that's really awesome, and it's really nice to hear.
It is
And
awesome 3D cards.
so, we always end with the show, a growth tip that you would share with fellow entrepreneurs, so far in your growth journey. What is something you've learned, or something that's helped fuel your growth, and that you'd like to share with other entrepreneurs?
Well, I was trying to think of something that's rather tactical rather than big, hairy, audacious goal. I would say what I was told by some people that I respect early on in setting up your own business, a small business, is from the start, have a good bookkeeper and a good CPA, both,
Yes, yes,
because they're
yes.
different. They solve different purposes. And many times as an entrepreneur, we're like, yeah, okay, it's that one Excel sheet, we'll take care of it. No, because I'm not an expert at finance or taxes. Like you, I'm an expert in sales and marketing.
Yeah,
So that advice, and oh, do I really need to pay that? Can I do my own taxes? No. So
yeah,
just get a good business-oriented bookkeeper, or otherwise known as accountant, that takes care of day-to-day things, and a great CPA that can really guide you as you build your business from zero to something, and something substantial. And I think that is a piece of advice that I got early on, and I'd like to pass on as well.
yeah. It's definitely a good one. I see a lot of new entrepreneurs, not have a bookkeeper in place, and I couldn't. We're a big believer in it. We actually invested in a company called Bookkeeper 360,
Yeah.
which is kind of taking bookkeeping to a whole nother level, making it fintech, digital, online platform, so you can actually see your stuff, but you still get an actual bookkeeper. So they've merged like tech with the personalization and a custom bookkeeper, and it's all outsourced, so it's less expensive than having to hire one. And
Mm.
all of this stuff you can do, remotely today. You don't need a bookkeeper, on site. So I'm a big believer in it. And I see so many entrepreneurs get tripped up in it. So great piece of advice. Thank you for sharing. And how could folks find you, Harlow, to go check out your cards, and maybe send some cards out to their
Yes.
customers?
So we've kept it very simple. We are a wholesale B2B product company. So the key is our website. We've spent a lot of time and energy on it to show 400 different, currently 400 and growing, custom corporate designs. So it is very simply www.awesome3dcards, much like my name tag there, only all together. So awesome, 3 with a 3, awesome3dcards.com. And, take it from there. You can see our designs. You can see how it works. You can schedule a brainstorming session with me, which a lot of times is the first step. Hey, we have this idea. What do you think? So my value as a business person and a person that has a lot of different experiences is to listen to the company or organization and hear, number one, who is getting this card? What is the purpose? What do you want them to do? What's the call to action? And really, with those three pieces of information, I work giving, with no obligation, giving ideas to the companies or organizations, and we go from there. And if it's something they want to do, great. If it's not, I'm happy to have contributed my thoughts and ideas about how to help them communicate, because it's all about effective communication. That's really what my product does in a unique and innovative way, is to communicate from you, the sender, to the recipient, and create a positive emotional connection.
Great stuff. Well, I appreciate you being on the show today, and thanks for sharing, your story, and really excited what you got going on. I really wish you nothing but success.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing, keep growing, and please go check out Harlow's website at awesome3dcards.com and get some cards ordered for your customers.
Right.
All right.
Thanks so
Thanks
much
for being on the show today.
Great.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Be well.